I was there like frantically with my hand out like, please high five me, please high five me. And he did, and he was high fiving me, and I was like, I just touched Niall's hand, I'm never washing my hand again. Hi guys, welcome back to India Rain Rocks. So today's video is from a day that I never in my life kind of expected to live, and it was the day that I met the lovely, the wonderful Niall James Horan for the very first time. On the 25th of May 2016 I met Niall James Horan for the very first time. And I had been a fan of One Direction since 2010, so at that point I'd only really been in the fandom for 6 years, and obviously now it's nearly 11 years later and I'm still here. That day was just super special, and I'll never forget it, even though I absolutely despise my picture from that day, but besides the point, I still met Niall on that day. So we'll get to like showing you the picture a little bit later, and even though I hate it, it's super funny and it's kind of cute, but it's so funny just to look at. So anyway, on to the video. So I actually met Niall at a golf tournament, and he was playing in the Pro-Am, which is where all celebrities play with pro golfers, and it's just a little bit of fun before the pros play professionally from Thursday through to Sunday. So me and my mum, we'd been to golf events before when we lived in Marbella, and they were quite dressy up events, so we thought like this would be quite similar. So we kind of dressed up quite a bit, like I put a play suit on and some like long boots. When we got there, we didn't really know what to expect. Like on the journey down to London, because at the time I was living in North Yorkshire, so on the journey down to London we were kind of discussing what we thought it was going to be like. Like we thought, are we going to have to sit up in the Grandstand and we're only going to get to see him once, play one hole, and that's kind of going to be it, that's going to be the experience. I mean, we didn't really think anything of meeting him or anything like that. That's not the reason why I was going down. I was just genuinely going down to support him playing golf, because I knew how much he loves to play golf. Like, obviously you know now he's got his golf management company, which I think it was probably still early days for Modest Golf. But yeah, we didn't know what to expect, so when we got there it was so super chill, and we didn't realise that we could actually follow Niall round all day for 5 hours, because that's how long a golf game is. So you can imagine little 16-year-old me, I was like a bottle with something fizzy inside, so you know, like a champagne bottle and you shake it and like the cork's trying to come off but you're holding it down and everything's inside like fizzing. But on the outside it just looks cool and calm. That's what I was like, because I was with my mum, so I was trying to be really cool and calm, when inside I was thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna see now, I'm gonna walk around Niall all day today, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So it's quite like funny looking back to seeing like how I used to react like that and how I am now, which is kind of more chill, just like, oh yeah, I'm just walking around with Niall today. If I meet him, whoopee. If I don't, oh well, at least I've had a nice day. And that's exactly what I was like in 2016 as well. At Wentworth there is a little driving range, which is where everyone kind of practices just before they go onto the little practice circle where they practice putting, and then they go straight to their first tee. So me and my mum were standing basically on a walkway between the driving range and where you practice putting, and there were loads of like other girls there around my age, so we were like, Niall's definitely going to walk down here at some point, or he's going to be around here, because these girls aren't going to be standing here for no reason. And because we were kind of first timers, we just followed the crowd in a way, because we knew that there were probably a lot of people here that had been before. So we were standing around there and people were walking up and down and things like that, and there was no really like sign of Niall anywhere, but we knew we'd probably be there at some point because the girls were all still hanging around. And then suddenly I looked up towards the driving range and I saw Basil, and I was like to my mum, that's Basil. That's now security. Niall's going to be walking down here in a minute. So I'm going to play you the video basically right now, and you will see how close this man was to my face, and 16-year-old me who had never met a single member of One Direction before, I was literally beside myself. I just put 2 videos in there because the second video was just after Niall had walked past, and I was filming him practicing his putt, and as you saw, I was shaking. I was so like, oh my goodness, Niall's just walked past me, Niall's just walked past me, and he'd only just walked past me. That was kind of it, and I was so like shaken up, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. My mum was like standing there with her arm around me like, it's okay, Andy, he only walked past you, and I was like, I know, but he just walked past me. So I was so like over dramatic, but I can't really blame myself. It's just so funny looking back, because watching all these videos, like, I haven't watched them in a couple of years now. So when I found them all and I was watching through them to see which ones I should put in this vlog, I was kind of just half laughing at how I used to be when I was 16, because I was just so excited to see Niall. Me and my mum watched Niall practice for a couple of minutes, and then we saw a big grandstand kind of across the fairway. So we walked over to the grandstand and we said, look, let's just sit here whilst he tees off for the first time. We'll see what happens, because at this point we still didn't know if we could follow Niall round or not, or if we were just going to be sitting in this grandstand all day, and that was it. So we went up and sat in the grandstand, and then we weren't there for very long before Niall then walked over and he did a little bit of an interview, which I totally forgot that he even did, so I'm going to include that right here.
We'll play right to the amateurs, these glorious amateurs playing alongside Nicholas today. A couple of gentlemen you might recognise. Let's grab a word first of all with this non-natural blonde, but I'm just jealous, Niall Horan. Tell us about this experience. Oh, I know. Tell us about this experience of playing in front of these people today.
Very nerve-wracking. Did it last year and I was a lot more nervous than I am now. Played at the Pro-Am in Ireland last week, which has calmed my nerves a little bit, but there is still way too many people here.
Do you don't feel comfortable when you perform in front of 50,000 people, 100,000 people? Is this not just a breeze?
Yeah, well, that's in my field of work. So when you're playing a thing you do as a hobby in front of a lot of people, the most people I ever play in front of is 2 or 3. So when you're playing in front of thousands, it's a different story.
And then after that interview, he basically got ready to tee off. He teed off, the rest of his team teed off, and then they set off. And then as we watched them set off, we saw all the other fans following. So me and my mum just looked at each other and we were just like, we're going. So we came off the grandstand and we basically just followed him. And we just followed him literally round all day. We were standing on like little fenced off areas where one hole finished and the next one started. So between those 2 holes, Niall would just walk past and he'd be high-fiving everyone, saying hi to everyone, like literally just greeting everyone who was there. And I didn't realise he was going to be doing stuff like this, so I was there like frantically with my hand out like, please high-five me, please high-five me. And he did, and he was high-fiving me, and I was like, I just touched Niall's hand, I'm never washing my hand again. So I was so overdramatic. I still am, I'm not gonna lie. So that was like super amazing. But as I was watching the footage back, there was one point where I kind of filmed someone from Niall's entourage walking up, and I paused on these 2 girls and I was like, I know those 2. So I messaged my best friends. There was only 2 of them, so I messaged 2 of my best friends and I said to them, are these 2 people you? And they both replied like, yeah, That's me. So at the time, the three of us, we didn't know each other. We didn't know the others existed. We didn't know each other at all. We were all there with different people. It was just so crazy to think that like these two people are my best friends and I've met them because of Niall. It's crazy to think like in May 2016 we didn't know each other, and then by March 2018 we were best friends, and we've been best friends ever since. And it's just crazy to think that all three of us were there at the golf to support Niall, and now we go to golf events together to support Niall as best friends. So it's so like strange just knowing that we've all got footage of each other from that day, because that wasn't the only time we were standing close to each other. I mean, we stood close to each other practically the whole day. So there was one point where I was kind of selfie videoing myself like on one of these walkways between the two holes, and I was stood there like kind of ready because I didn't know if Niall was going to be taking pictures, and if he was, when and where. So I was kind of I wasn't doing it to get a picture, I was kind of doing it to, if he didn't stop, at least I'd have something of like me and him from that day. And I was just filming myself, and then as I did that, all the girls kind of in front of me and behind me were all putting their hands out for Niall to high five. So as I went to do that, I did it too late. So as I stuck my hand out for Niall to high five and like pulled it away because I realised I was too late, it looks like, and I wasn't doing this, but it looks like I was stroking Niall's arm. And it's just like, why would I do that to myself? Stroke Niall's arm. And here I'm going to include probably between 1 and 3 minutes worth of footage, just literally of Niall playing golf, just so you can see like the kind of thing, like what I mean when I say you literally walk around and you literally spend the day with Niall on a golf course for 5 hours. Because like the content I got, I never in my life would have thought that I'd have content like that. And in loads of ways I'm so glad Niall plays golf. Out of all the sports he could play, it's golf, because it's just so like personal. And like at the time I didn't really know him. I knew, you know, I knew him, obviously. I knew Niall from like interviews and things like that, but I didn't like know him well enough to be able to shout things or anything like that. And I was also like a little bit nervous to do that, because I was like, I don't want to shout him in case he ignores me, which he wouldn't have done because he wasn't ignoring every time someone shouted him, he never ignores anyone. So, but I was shy, I was nervous. So I'm going to include a little montage here of footage that you guys can look at, and like I say, see what I mean when I say that you really do spend the day with Niall walking around a golf course. There was one point actually where Niall was walking down the fairway and me and my mum were kind of standing, like it was on like a bit of a hill, so he was at the bottom of the hill and me and my mum were standing at the top, and we were like the only two people up there. I think there were very few people, and if they were genuine like golf spectators and not fans. So it was just me and my mum up here walking down, ready to go to the next hole. And we stopped. We stopped and we started waving at Niall, and I was just stood there waving at Niall. And then he he was with the people that he was with, talking to them and stuff, and then he looked up and kind of went, oh, like that, and I was like, oh my god, Niall's waved at me, Niall's waved at me. Obviously I didn't do that reaction. I was quite cool inside and I kind of just waved back, but inside I was like, Niall just waved at me, he just waved at me, he just waved at me. So it wasn't long after that me and my mum went to this autograph area, which is where between the 18th and the first hole celebrities would basically walk up and you could meet them or get them to sign something or to get a picture. So we went there and there was quite a lot of fans there. Obviously, not only for Niall, there were fans there for all the other celebrities who were there. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who else was there, but there was a lot of famous people there. So it wasn't just Niall fans, it was other people as well. But yeah, me and my mum were probably waiting there no more than 10 minutes whilst Niall was finishing his round on the 18th hole. So as we were waiting for Niall to come to the autograph bit, a little bit of his entourage who were walking ahead of him were walking up the autograph section, and a director at Modest Golf, Mark McDonnell, as he was walking up, my mum kind of called him over and said, is Niall gonna meet fans, type of thing, because there were so many people crammed into such a small area that we didn't really think there was any chance that I'd be able to meet Niall. So Mark just said he's gonna meet everyone. Some of them was like, everyone here, Niall's gonna meet everyone here, and Mark was like, yeah, Niall is gonna meet every single fan here. And when I tell you that he did, he really did. And like, it was honestly, he's so amazing for doing that. He's got an absolute heart of pure gold, because he really did spend practically, it was probably an hour of his time meeting every single fan. That was probably more than an hour, because there were so many people there. And he did it out of the kindness of his own heart. And not only Niall, but Mark as well. Like, as a lot of you probably know, when we go to gigs and things, you know, security do tend to lie a lot, and they tell us to go to places where the boys aren't going to be, so we end up going on a big wild goose chase, and they tell us they are going to be somewhere when they're not, and vice versa, and it's just not fair on fans. So to get that pure honesty from Mark was just so nice, to kind of finally have someone that wasn't lying to us and actually really did mean what he say, because like, Niall genuinely did just meet every single person, because he's just amazing. Honestly, he is the best. He is literally the best. And that was kind of the first time I'd ever seen anyone do that, and I was just like, he is literally so amazing that he did not have to meet every single person that day, and he did. And there was easily over 100 people and he met every single person, and honestly that was just amazing, and I really couldn't believe it. So I'm going to post a little snippet next of when Niall was literally no more than 3 people away from me.
It's okay if I just put it to the side like that underneath. Cheers. Yeah.
It's already signed. You can actually see the writing there.
Can I have a picture, please?
They're Pillix them, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not the greatest autograph I've ever done. But
Oh, right, sorry.
thank you.
Very much.
All right.
What happened to you, Niall?
Huh?
What happened to you?
It was all right.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Really good, actually. I was happy with it.
Can I have a quick photo?
There you go. What do you mean? What happened today?
Well, I thought you done quite well.
So, because it was my first time meeting Niall, my mum basically had her phone totally ready to film. She was already pre-filming, and she was ready to film like me and Niall kind of meeting for the first time, because she knew how much I loved him. I mean, I'd supported him, like I say, since 2010, so she knew how kind of big this was for me. So she had her phone and it was filming, and basically after he met me I asked him if he could kiss my cheek for the photo, and he did. And as she was filming me and she stopped the video, we went back to look over the video when we left and the video was not there. And I couldn't believe it. I didn't care really, but then I also kind of thought to myself, I don't even have a proper video of my first interaction with Niall, but I didn't care because I had the picture and I was just like, this is proof enough. I've had an amazing day following him around all day and now I've got this picture. And I just really didn't care. But it was quite sad that I didn't have that video, but who cares? It doesn't even matter that I don't have it. But that is not the first time that has happened, because since then, like, it's happened twice with Louis as well, in 2017 and 2018, where my mum's gone to film me meeting Louis or Louis meeting fans, and the sound isn't there on the video, even when it should be. So I feel like, you know when we say these boys aren't real, they probably really are not, because I don't know why, because it's never happened before with anybody else except members of One Direction. So I do not even know why my camera does that with these boys, but hey ho, there's just something electric about these boys, okay? So with my photo, my lovely photo, Niall came and stood right in front of me and he was like, "You right?" And I was like, "Yeah, please can you kiss my cheek for the photo?" And he kind of stood, not in silence, but kind of stood as if he was really thinking about his answer. And I went to kind of ask him again because I thought, was I like speaking really quietly? Do I need to say again? Because he didn't hear me because I was like nervous. So I went to kind of say it again and he looked at me and he went, "Yeah, of course." And then like leant over, kissed my cheek, kissed my cheek. And I was really happy. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, kiss my cheek." And my mum was next to me. She had this like book because I was too scared to kind of ask him for a picture and for an autograph. So my mum was holding this book, and as he was signing it, she went, "Oh, have you had a good day, Niall?" And like he did it again, he kind of paused as if he was really thinking about his answer. And then he looked her straight in the eye and went, "I've had a really good day, thank you." And I remember my mum saying this is the first time she's ever been speechless after meeting anyone, like any celebrity, because she said that when she looked into his eyes, they were so blue, and like they really are, like in pictures you can just see how blue they are, but in real life they are so blue. They are literally amazing, and I can't believe I survived that day after looking in Niall Horan's eyes and like speaking to him. Like I was like, that was the best conversation I've ever had in my life, and all it was, "Please can you kiss me on the cheek?" And yes, of course. That was it, that was my conversation with Niall, and it was the best conversation I'd ever had. But yeah, I'm going to show you my picture now. So we took that picture and I was literally thinking to myself, this is like this could be the very first and last time that I ever meet Niall Horan. So my mum, for Christmas that year, got the picture printed on a cushion, and more recently I made myself this. And now if you want to make something like this yourself, the link to the video is in the description below, because I have already made a video on how I made this lovely frame. And after we met Niall, I mean, I was just ecstatic. Like I was messaging all of my friends, literally not even saying anything, I was just sending them the picture, and everyone was replying back to me like, "Oh my god, Angie, you just met Niall, you just met Niall!" And they were all really happy for me, because I was sending them to even people that didn't really stand One Direction, but because they knew how much I loved Niall, they were like all super happy for me, because they were just like, "You literally deserve this." And I was like, I'm crying, I met Niall. So all on the way back home, and it was, like I said before, it was a 4-hour journey home. The entire way home I just watched my videos back, I kept looking at my picture, I literally could not stop looking at it, because I was like, this is real, this is not even Photoshop, this is genuinely a real photo of me and Niall. And I just kept saying to him, I just kept looking at my mum and just being like, "I met Niall today," and I think I probably said that about 50 times before I went to sleep. And then I woke up the next day, ran into her bedroom, opened the door, and I was like, I met Niall yesterday and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was literally just so happy. I was just super happy meeting him that day, and honestly, like I say, as much as I kind of claim to hate that picture, I just really don't, because it's my first ever picture with Niall, and I'll just never ever forget that day. And I'm glad I can kind of look at it and just laugh and be like, I can't believe I even pulled that face, because I look really like angry and miserable, but I wasn't. Inside I was totally screaming, but I went through a phase where I just didn't smile in pictures. I don't even know why, but I do now. I'm happy smiley in my pictures now. So in order to get more experiences of myself meeting the Solo Mundi boys out, I have decided that every first Sunday of the month I will be putting out a video of my experiences meeting the boys. So if you want to look out for those, please don't forget to subscribe below, give this video a massive thumbs up if you enjoy content like this, and please leave a comment down below, as I would love to hear from you all. And my social medias, as per usual, are in the description below. And that is basically it. I would just like to tell you all to follow your passion, make it happen, and I will see you all next week. Bye!